Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is November 14th, 2017. As you are watching this, the defenders of independent wrestling are here. We are the Squared Circle. I'm Hollywood J. Williams. Dangerous Dan's right here.
Ain't you lucky?
I'm always lucky.
Yeah, you just can't get lucky.
We're always lucky. As we are taping this, it is Veterans Day. So to all our veterans out there, thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for serving.
And to a special veteran out there watching the show, Butch Manaki, I'd like to send a big thank you for everything that you've done for me recently. Really means a lot. So if you see Butch out there on the street, tell him we mentioned him here on the show.
Absolutely. That being said, now usually we defend independent wrestling as our primary job. Last Saturday, November 4th, we had the honor and the privilege of being a part of the big event 13 at the LaGuardia Hotel in East Elmhurst, New York. Let me tell you something. It was a great experience. The inaugural Squared Circle podcast. I am happy to announce hearing back on my laptop. It came out great. It's going to be up on either iTunes or Podbean. We'll have more information about that to come. So you want to let us know? I mean, we'll definitely let you know. Excuse me.
Do you know what you're talking about?
I don't know what I'm talking about. It's first thing in the morning. It's a Saturday. I said to come. What did you think of their big event?
I thought it was pretty interesting getting to meet a lot of the old-time professional wrestling legends, stars, icons. Just to name a few, Cowboy Bob Orton was there. Shawn Michaels was there. A lot of people were gathered to see him. Tito Santana was there. I've always wanted to meet him. And, of course, we were fortunate enough to sit with KM.
From your favorite Impact Wrestling.
From Impact Wrestling.
Right. He was totally marking out over you.
I know. He could barely handle Hoffmania. And then, plus we hit him with a double dose of Hollywood, and, man didn't know how to handle himself.
Right. I also want to thank Richard Holiday, most marketable man in professional wrestling, Sergeant Murray from PAPW, as well as the House of Pain, the tag team champions. All were there. Paul Roma was like practically on the other side of the room from us.
But he was there.
But he was there.
And we had the chance to network with another company, which made that even more worthwhile.
Exactly. But if you ever get the chance to go to one of these, the next one is March 10th. Same place, LaGuardia Plaza Hotel in East Elmhurst, New York. We have a couple videos we're going to show you here. These are not our videos, but we do have permission to air said videos, and we'll also be hearing from one of the coordinators for the big event, Brian Barth, a little bit later on in the broadcast. But we're going to go to this video right now. It was taken before 10 a.m. last Saturday, right before the doors opened up. You can't see a lot of the people that, a lot of the guests, but you can, it's just going to give you an overview of, what the big event looks like before the big event starts up. So we'll roll this beautiful footage right here. Great.
We're live here at the big event 13. Start out with some of this till people show up in the room.
I don't think there's any volume on this.
As you can see here, Jay, you mentioned the people were starting to line up while they waited for the doors to open.
Right. Look at that. Did you see that person there? That's me.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have shot you. Well, I will. I could shoot you, but not with film.
Right. That's basically, now they're panning back towards the bar area.
And just think, the one thing we didn't have to worry about that day was the FCC, because we did our inaugural podcast.
Right. Unregulated by the FCC.
No, bro, you never want to go unregulated. You always want to make sure you're regulated, and everything's working well.
Start all the way on one end here, so people can see where everybody's located at. We got a few people watching live, but you can always dial this back and check it out later. We'll start up here.
And this, as you mentioned, I believe, is the voice of Brian Barth.
I don't believe that's Brian.
Crazy Steve. All sorts of awesome.
Yeah, they had. We were able to see, look around. Lady Tapia was there. The New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn was there. Six Pac was there.
Right in that room.
Got Muddy Ink.
Randy Orton, Ivan Putski.
TagMeADate.com.
TagMeADate.com.
Maven over here.
That sounds like fun.
Maven.
Here we got some Toxic Turtles.
Toxic Turtles had a very brief run in the WWF.
Brittany Palmer. UFC Ring Girls.
Models, ring girls.
Girl Mandy Leone.
Mandy Leone.
Some wrestling figures and get this sick backdrop set up. Blood's running cold for Glacier. All these people here. All right, so now we're going to get into the main area. This is where things get confusing. This is where you're going to be able to get some Shawn Michaels stuff. People filing in. All right. So a lot of people aren't fully set up yet, so I'm not going to know exactly where everybody is, but there's a full list of vendors on the website. Damage Radio is going to have all their guests right here. Pass by this wrestling merch right here. We're going to go over that in a minute. Andrew Anderson over here.
Yeah, there was Andrew Anderson, and next to him was Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Right. Andrew Anderson's always at these things. That's the room our table was in.
Right.
Sonny and Santana Garrett are over here. This is right in the first lobby area of the main room.
Santana Garrett came and talked to us for a few minutes. Or more
Al
KM.
Snow came over and shook our hands. Mm-hmm. Because he too wants a piece of Hoffmania in Hollywood.
The Goon. Bill Irwin.
The Barbarian.
I believe if I
Got your Paul Orndorff VIP entrance. This is where you're going to come to. So this is right.
Look at that guy over there in the lime green shirt.
All right. If anybody's got any questions, just drop them. I'll try to help you find who you're looking for. This is where things are going to get a little crazy in the main room, as always.
There's where the real action takes place.
Northeast Wrestling. It's got Jerry the King Lawler.
and Booker T was in that room, and he's the one that recently attended one of the Paradise Alley professional wrestling
Dieselmania.
shows, Dieselmania.
He was on the other side of the room here.
That's because he knew he couldn't contain himself if he had to meet us again.
So much effort and coordination goes into setting these things up. It's just
What's going on? Ping Pong Bundy. Teddy Long over here.
I got to shake the hand of Eric Bischoff as he was walking through our area.
right past their table.
Hey, it's Lucky 13.
Lucky 13.
Yeah, we were actually.
Lucky Pro Wrestling. That's another company we gotta get in contact with. That man right there, Jim Burton Doing.
Sam, did you actually have your stuff set up?
And there's a new independent professional wrestling
917 people. Get it together.
show starting up in Rhode Island, and I believe Tommy Dreamer is going to be on that card, and we'll have more details for the viewers as we get them.
We got Veldis Guy and Madison right next to each other. And then Angelina Love. Look at this. You got the beautiful, beautiful people all right here.
I don't think that guy in the black is Angelina Love.
No, that's Jim.
Yes.
Again, this is before 10 a.m.
Right, and Jim doesn't look like one of the beautiful people to me, so you know.
No. There's Fred Ottman right there. Tugboat, Typhoon.
Wendy Richter.
Wendy Richter, former WWF World's Women's Champion.
I'm like fanboying out over here. Matt Warren, Kelly Kelly.
Fanboying out.
T.
Well, he hasn't came to. Well, KM's not there yet.
Sergeant Slaughter. Tito Santana. Ivan Putski. Getting crowded.
Although I have to be a little bit remiss here, Jay. There was a Paul Roma from Pretty Wonderful was there. Paul was on one end,
Orndorff was right across from us.
right across from us. But however, the one and only legendary Mario Mancini wasn't there.
No.
I hope they get him. I hope they get him for the upcoming one. As we both know, Mario's a valuable wealth of information. Likes to talk road
absolutely.
stories and share his adventures.
And Sean Mooney over here right when you walk. So when you walk in, we're back around.
Sean Mooney. Used to do the event center for the WWF back in the day.
Yeah, that was in the I believe same time around Todd Pettengill.
A little before that.
Some vendors over here.
Now it's starting to fill up a little bit. People are starting to come in. No wrestlers yet.
And Terry Taylor was there. Many will remember him as the computer-made man,
The computerized man of the 1990s, Terrence Taylor. The tailor-made man.
and under Bobby Heenan's tutelage in the WWF, the Red Rooster.
The Red Rooster.
Technically 10. And it is. Madness is already beginning. Oh, look at this. Hold on a second. Poor guy. Hold on a second. Hold on a second here.
You saw a lot of tables with merch, T-shirts, wrestling figures,
Right. So
DVDs.
if you attend one of these, do yourself a favor and bring your wallet.
Right. Oh, definitely.
So right when you walk right in, this guy's got like everything here. Literally everything.
Right. If you're into collecting wrestling figurines and T-shirts,
Magazines.
there's several different locations along the big event corridor you can go to.
Right. And, many of those items you're not going to see very often.
Right.
Alright. Back into the lobby here.
And as we mentioned, you can see some of the not only the legends of the sport and the icons such as Shawn Michaels, but there's also a lot of the up and coming talent
Absolutely.
such as Richard Holiday, the most marketable man in wrestling, who's a good friend of the show. He was there.
I think that's something we need to see more of at the big event. Is some of these, indie companies shouldn't be afraid to, maybe take a little bit of a hit. And talk talk to the management of the big event, and get a table, and push your products,
Well, yeah.
push your different companies.
Well, I was happy to see that the independent talent was there and included in the show, because that gives their may open some doors for them down the road.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, we know for such as the Paradise Alley guys got a
Right.
chance to
Yeah.
meet and greet with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. This is the big event. You utilize it.
And Shawn Michaels, I hear a rumor of. He questioned the most marketable man in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
How Shawn Michaels could become an even bigger.
Wow. That's where he's walking. There is the theater.
Assuming we already got people lined up, this is where you're gonna go for Shawn Michaels. We'll take a look.
Like he said, that's where you would go for Shawn Michaels this time. The next time, whatever their main attraction is, will be in the auditorium by his or herself.
Mm.
Spook Shawn Michaels.
It's always a special VIP package to go in there too.
Shawn Michaels is that way. No, right through that area there.
Is he right here?
Nope, I'm gonna walk you to. We're on Facebook Live. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
So Shawn Michaels is gonna be right up into the theater room right here.
Okay. Do you know what time he gets here?
I think 10:30. Yep.
Right, and that
Running for Shawn.
and that line was pretty extensive. It was from all the way where you shot those people had,
Mm-hmm.
literally packed down that highway.
Even further, right?
Did I just say highway
Yes.
instead
there's
of hallway?
Hallway.
It's
It
gonna
should-
be-
It should be a hallway.
It's going to be a good day.
Right.
Do one more time, see if people got their stuff out. So I can actually show you guys more of where people are supposed to be at.
You know who we got to give for that show too?
Windows back here because they're kind of in the corner.
The one and only Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy.
Oh. March 10th. We should talk to him.
Cards and figures over here.
Because after all, an event is not complete unless there's Big Daddy, the Guardian of Chaos.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And as usual at this time, we'd also like to take a moment here to remind you that of our good friends at
Center ring.
Center Ring
Right.
to tune in and watch them.
Right. And there's the man
Mr.
right
Roma.
there.
Paul Roma, I believe, is 50 in his 50s, and he's still in ring performing as well as teaching at Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling. He's in, for a man of his age, phenomenal shape.
Yeah. We were able to, KM, Kevin Matthews, at the end, we were able to walk over with KM and introduce him to Paul Roma. And now they've been in negotiations for, business deals, let's just say.
Well, that was a promise that we had made to KM that we would introduce him to Paul Roma, and
Right.
we at the Squared Circle take pride in keeping our promises.
Absolutely. High Spots Superstore. Nice to watch somebody else film the big event for a change.
Well, I like it too, Jay, because it doesn't have that shakiness, kind of like you visited the After Hours Cocktail Lounge or something effect to it.
Right. Okay, again, we touched on the fact that there's, tables with just merchandise. You don't necessarily, if you're a vendor, you don't necessarily have to spend money on bringing a guest in. If you have a lot of things you might want to push, you know, product wise, you could do that too.
Give a shout out. What's your company? Fancy Sports. All right. Who you guys got here? So you're all over the place. So you're here, over there. Taking over. Taking over information over here. Look at this. I got steak.
Look at that. And we're back. We'll just waiting to hear from Mr. Brian Barth, and we'll continue on. We have another video. We also have tons and tons of pictures here.
And certainly, you know, you had always spoken to me about how big these events are, how exciting they were.
Yeah.
And
And you always thought I was full of it.
Well, I know you're full of it, but until I actually experienced it for myself,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize what I was missing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I had always considered myself a fan that, yeah, I'll go watch the in-ring action, and I don't necessarily, I kind of stay away from getting the autographs and so forth. But when I was there, I have to admit, for about 2 minutes, I marked out. But then I realized I am Dangerous Dan.
Right.
I am the man with the upper plan. We are the Sultans of Slam.
Right. And how do you think everybody else was thinking when we walked in and we put that banner up that said Squared Circle, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's really them."
They were freaking out.
Right. Because Bischoff seemed a little nervous when he walked past. Oh my God.
Yeah,
it's
he did.
them.
He did, and then I extended my hand towards the man, and he was like, his hand was trembling. He didn't know quite how to handle it.
Right. Right. But the next one will be March 10th. I'm gonna pick Brian's brain a little bit when he calls in. See if he could, you know, give us an idea of who he has coming next time. It might be a little too early to say, but
Well, I imagine they're in the early formative stages.
mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But yeah, Brutus the Beefcake Barber, aka the man with no name, the wrestler with 50 names there
Oh, I think so.
was there, but most people will remember him from being at the top of the mountain as Brutus the Beefcake Barber, having competed in matches such as the early Survivor Series and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Actually, we're gonna go to the second video now. Brian is a little bit delayed calling us. He'll be calling us in about 15 minutes or so. So this should give us time. We'll continue on next video here, I think. There we go.
Why's Facebook cutting me off like that? Did I hit a button?
I've heard of menopause, but you get mental pause, huh?
Well, and then now it's filling up a little bit.
Right. So these types of event is certainly an event you want to get there early.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, the rooms are full. Where the action is fast and furious, but it's a good day for families, for kids, for. Okay, so that was Glacier. That reference was.
Mm-hmm.
Glacier WCW had a huge marketing campaign for him,
Right.
and his character was basically a. How can I put this politely?
Throwback of like a ripoff of
Mortal Kombat. Well, I
Right.
was trying to get around the word ripoff, but
Right. Not ripoff in a negative.
then again, you're Hollywood and you can get away with that. So you know.
Right. Based on a character from Mortal Kombat.
There you go. That's more PC.
Right.
And they also have several food items where if you're at this event that you could purchase. They had a restaurant facility that was opened,
Oh yeah.
as well as a side store. So no need to bring a lot of cash.
Great breakfast there. The last time I spent the night at the hotel in the morning, the breakfast there is very good.
Yeah, and I understand you had a very interesting story about who you had pizza with.
Oh yes, Aubrey and Bobby Dream, who's the ECPW Long Island champion, at least at the time he was helping Gimmick Tree Entertainment. Charlie, you met Charlie when we were setting up the table there. We were in there, and of course, all the who's who of who's going to be at the big event is all at the bar hanging out the night before. Everybody booked into the hotel. Four Horsemen, Tully Blanchard, and J.J. Dillon were sitting there eating pizza, and they left. And they left about 2 or 3 slices there. They went back up to their hotel rooms. They never came back down. Oh, Bobby Dream and I were kind of hungry.
Yeah, you know.
Let's just put.
Deadpool. Mauricio Deadpool there. Shawn Michaels is. Everybody else, Shawn Michaels is right there. That's the line you want to get in.
They're all starting to get into the line for Shawn Michaels.
And that line did not stay that short for long.
No. You gave it about 15, 20 minutes, folks, and
In Impact now is we had KM Kevin Matthews with us.
mm-hmm.
They're now filming up shooting out of Ottawa, Canada,
Right,
instead of Orlando, Florida,
right.
because the owner of there's Ricky Steamboat,
Mm-hmm.
and the, Ricky Steamboat still looks again just like phenomenal shape.
Oh, absolutely.
Looks like he could go in the ring today. There's Cowboy Bob Orton.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you turned around, you were literally within inches
Of somebody.
of somebody.
Right.
I mean, there's Greg the Hammer Valentine,
Mm-hmm.
just getting there.
Yeah, this is probably a little after 10 o'clock now.
Right. Well, because of the outside parking situation, and this is no fault of our host Brian Barth. He doesn't have control of the parking situation, but it took us a little while to find a parking
Right.
spot because so many cars were there for so
Right.
many people who wanted to come in and take part of such a great event.
Bill had to drop us off at the top of the front door and then go park and then come walking in.
Yeah, but knowing Bill, I get the feeling he was happy to drop us off.
Stage. When do you want that? It's going to be a full year. It's going to be awesome.
And Bill, as many fans know, is referees as Slick Willie Thompson. So if you get the chance to attend a local wrestling event by Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling,
Oh, yeah.
which there's another big, huge event coming up next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You may get the chance to see Slick Willie Thompson in action in the
Right.
inside the ring ropes as a referee.
Right. But we wish him to get well. He's a little bit under the weather today. I'm actually glad. I was a little under the weather myself last night, but feeling a lot better this morning.
Well, you may feel a lot better, but your looks ain't done nothing.
Hey now.
All right, Jerry, you better get here. You better get here, man. It's filling up.
I don't know who he's talking about. If
Oh, he's talking about the
Waller.
legendary Jerry the King Lawler.
Right.
It's Road Dogg again. This guy's taking care of business.
That guy was
Lot of
That
security.
guy was huge. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was huge security. It wasn't little teeny
They got
guys.
some security at this event.
Where's HBK? All right, we're gonna go back to HBK's area.
I mean, they had the one security officer there that was about the size of a Mack truck,
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna go over here.
and that was just his left arm. So you don't want to mess around.
It's your main hallway. And head down here.
They could be wrestlers themselves. That's the security.
They actually could. They're that big.
Mm-hmm.
Down this hallway
And bigger.
into the theater.
And granted, not every wrestler is that big because you have your luchadors, your
Uh-huh.
cruiserweights, whatever you want to call them. But we're talking about these boys were on the size of about a good 300 pounds, at solid muscle.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody got any questions where anybody is? We're all watching. Drop some questions.
I was kind of Ivan Putski was there, who some of the younger fans may remember as Polish Power Ivan Putski.
His son was got into the business for a little while too.
For a little bit.
Not as good, but
Well, it's hard to live up to the standards that their
Right.
fathers set, and you see so many second generation, third generation talents who can't quite live up to that standard.
yeah.
Even,
I think the only one that really probably exceeded the standards of his father was Randy Orton.
well, I don't know about that. I watched the cage match early this morning. It was Roddy Piper and Cowboy Bob Orton against
Right.
Paul Orndorff, who we had the privilege of sitting next to, and his opponent, and that was Bruno Sammartino.
Well, I'll put it this way: if pro wrestlers, as far as title runs, needed to have term limitations, I think Randy Orton's probably one of the ones that needs to be term limited.
Yeah, well,
We'll put it that way.
you know, he does hear voices in his head. So
Right.
one thing I have to caution fans that you may see is the wrestlers that some of you may see here, that the legends, you'll have a picture of them in your mind, of them in their heyday, and then you'll see them in real life, such as Ivan Putski. I was totally shocked in the difference.
Right.
And even Paul Orndorff, when he was signing autographs, he actually, one of his hands he had to hold.
Right.
So he
Well,
could sign.
unfortunately, we all get old.
Well, speak for yourself.
Right.
I just get better.
You know, and it's a tough business to be in.
Oh, it is. Takes a
You
lot
know.
out of you physically, emotionally.
To traveling, you know, you get sleep deprivation, you get injured, you
Right.
get sore, you know.
And a lot of the people who out there who will like to point fingers and say this form of entertainment is fake. Well, when's the last time they tried picking up a 300-pound man, or they've dove off the top of the steel cage and broke their leg or fibula and tibula bones?
Oh, it's true. Right. And I was even watching last night an old video from War Games and put out by WWE, and in the beginning of the video it said, "Don't try this at home." Right. Because these people are, you know, are trained to do these things, and you know they get hurt themselves. So if you try to set up a cage in your backyard and put two rings together, I mean, and you and your buddies try to get in there, you're all gonna get hurt.
Right, and we have a good friend, Andrew Calandrelli, who competes in the world of the ultimate mixed martial arts, is the name of his school, and he trains his students. And I've known Andrew since he was about 13, and yeah, he's been hurt over the years doing the ultimate mixed martial arts, and he would still caution you to not try many of the moves you see done by the professionals inside the wrestling ring.
Absolutely. We'll go to our slideshow now, I guess, while we're waiting for our phone call here.
Here's Tito Santana, who you just chopped off. Nice going.
Tito Santana. Yeah, we saw him in ECBW event a couple years back.
Yeah.
One of the J Ice shows. Let's see.
The Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan.
Right. That.
Who
I
was-
mean,
And
yeah.
Kevin was a former power lifter, as people may know.
Right. Power lifter. Led the Dungeon of Doom. Led the Varsity Club. Before that, Brutus Beefcake.
There's Brutus Beefcake, who will make appearances around here from time to time.
Right. Moving right along. What we got here? Ricky
There's Ricky the
Steamboat.
Dragon Steamboat.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the talents that all you have to do is say Steamboat, and many will conjure up the great match he had with Randy Macho Man Savage at WrestleMania 3.
Right. Of course, there's also the Chi-Town Rumble with Ric Flair.
Yeah, that was another good match.
Mm-hmm. Great rivalries there. There's another one with Brutus Beefcake and Sean Mooney, of course. Sergeant Slaughter and Nikolai Volkov. Always at these events.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, the Russian economy is kind of tough, so
Do
Nikolai's
you
gotta...
know who that is?
Yeah, but you know, even more importantly, he knew who we were.
Right. Bully Ray. He's making names. He's at ROH. I think he's actually packing it in. Right. Velvet Sky. Always great to see her. She's a lot of the big events she attends.
There's a man who once referred to you as tasting like sardines.
Yes. Yeah. There's a video of myself with Mr. Bushwhacker Luke here, and well, I guess I don't know, a little hungry or something. We, the people, I got the chance to see him at Wrestle Jam later that evening. Jack Swagger.
Speaking of Wrestle Jam,
Right.
well, we'll just let that lie for now.
Great time. Here we are with the Road Dogg, Billy Gunn. Your life, you bet.
X-Pac or
Mm-hmm.
X-Pac or Six-Pac or the 1, 2, 3 Kid, whatever you want to refer to him as.
Mm-hmm. What do we have an image of? I don't know. Moving right along.
There's the legendary Jimmy Hart,
Right. We see.
Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, who I understand is a born-again Christian these days.
Mm-hmm.
Wall Street, Mike Rotundo, IRS. They were the Money Incorporated.
Money Incorporated.
And of course, many wrestling viewers may know that Mike Rotundo's son is still heavily involved in the sport.
Right.
And his son would be Jay?
Follow the buzzards. I can't believe that you never guess. Is that Maven?
I believe it is.
That is Maven.
Maven was a tough enough season one winner.
Right, the first winner, the first Tough Enough ever. That's Mandy Leone, I believe. Glacier.
There's Glacier in front of his Nitro poster.
Mm-hmm. Lady Tappa.
Lady Tappa.
Lady Tappa. Gil Kim's bodyguard at one point. There's Eric Bischoff
Eric Bischoff and Scott Flash Norton.
and Scott Norton. Cowboy Bob Orton right there. There is Fred Ottman, Tugboat.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Moving right along. Santana Garrett.
Right, and Santana came over and spent some time with KM and us.
Right. Absolutely.
Seems to be a very personable, outgoing individual.
Right. Says she doesn't really do these signings that much, but
But she heard we were going to be there, so you know.
yeah. Definitely. have here? Barbie Blank, formerly known as Kelly.
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 I apologize, Jay. I've got a splitting headache this morning, but I'm doing the best I can.
We know you try. Moving right along. What we got here? The Goon.
There's the Goon.
Bill Irwin. Al Snow. What does everybody want?
We can't say that on
Al
the air, Jay.
Snow. There's Santana again.
This is the what you're watching here, folks, is the edited version of the squared circle. We've mentioned it before. We have our podcast up and running. If you want even more hotness, even more spiciness inside the ring, behind the scenes action.
That's Taylor Hendricks.
That's Taylor Hendricks.
All hail Hendricks. All hail Hendricks. Moving right along. Just, the people you see. There he is. Now, can you dig that?
That's Booker T. But you notice he was still back. He backing away. He didn't handle that dose of second half mania.
Right. There's Wendy Richter with Fred Ottman again.
Yeah, and I was surprised how much Wendy Richter had changed too, because I had pictured her still visually in my mind as the way she was in the ring.
Right. There's Alicia.
And she was at one time one of the most popular wrestling figures in the sport. That she was actually removed from the WWF because she was giving Hulk Hogan a run for his money.
Wow. We just went through Angelina Love. This is Deonna Purrazzo. That's the Center Ring Divas champion. Ring of Honor star.
And someday, if she's lucky, she'll have the squared circle title.
Never know. There she is again with somebody that had a tryout recently with the Performance Center, Madison Rain.
Speaking of having tryouts with the Performance Center, we're going to see our good friend tonight, Wrecking Ball Legursky.
Yes, we will. At Pioneer Valley Wrestling tonight.
Right, and by the time this airs, we would have seen that, and we will report on that.
Right, we'll have some footage of that next week. There's the Blue Meanie. There's Sabu.
Sabu, who recently appeared.
Where did we see him?
He was at the.
Yeah, he was at.
The card for Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling.
Right.
That we'd rather not acknowledge by name.
Right, but he was there.
That led to the
New Jack.
The Ring of Dreams
card,
which we
There's
applaud
Waller.
Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling for standing up and righting that wrong.
Absolutely.
There's Mordecai.
Mordecai,
I would have liked to see them do much more with, perhaps even put him against The Undertaker on a live show.
That would have been great. Terry Taylor. Some of the other legends just handed.
There's the one and only Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling, Paul Roma, the head instructor down there, who everybody can remember. He was with Pretty Wonderful, partnered, of course, with Paul, Mr. Wonderful Orndorff. And he was a member of the legendary Four Horsemen, as well as the Young Stallions in the WWF with Jimmy Powers.
Right. So it's a tenured career.
All right.
Absolutely.
And he's still, like I mentioned earlier, he's still jacked. He's in great shape.
Right.
There's Raven.
Quote the Raven.
Because at this one they had a special hardcore corner.
ECW reunion. There's in fact, there it is right there. There's all of them right there. ECW. There's the beautiful people.
No. We're the beautiful people.
They're the beautiful people.
Well, yeah, true.
Right.
I mean,
the greatest women's faction in all professional wrestling history.
I mean, I'm sure even our behind-the-scenes man would understand that they are the beautiful people.
Yep, I think eventually Impact Hall of Fame bound, without a doubt. The Quebecers. Or this is the Rougeau brothers. Jacques and Raymond
Rougeau.
Rougeau. There he is again.
Well, there he is again because he was also the Mountie.
The Mountie. There is David Hart Smith.
And I believe you were able to see him also later that night at Wrestle Jam.
Yes.
And David Hart Smith is, of course, the son of.
The legendary British Bulldog Davy Boy Smith.
And here we have the Steiner brothers,
Right.
Rick and Scott. Rick these days is in the real estate business.
There's Scott Hall, and it looks like Shawn Michaels. Bully Ray, Kevin Sullivan. There he is.
There's our buddy KM,
Kevin Matthews.
who of course appears on Impact Wrestling.
Right. And there's Paul Orndorff.
There's Paul Orndorff. This is what I was talking about. You see, you can remember seeing him in the ring in his younger years, and this is how he's aged. Still a heck of a character, though. The fans lining up were not
Hold on.
disappointed by him. I believe we have an important phone call coming through.
Right.
Hello.
Hey, Brian.
How are you?
Very good. Very good. We're just looking through some beautiful photos of the big event from last Saturday. Just
Cool.
one.
Yeah. Did you guys have a good time?
We had a sensational time, Brian. Thank you for inviting us.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
No problem.
Yep. So, what did it live up to everything that you expected?
Well, no, it didn't because, for starters, I hardly got to see anyone. I was in Shawn Michaels' room the whole time, and I barely met anyone, which was not really what I wanted. I wanted to go around the show. I didn't even get. I would say out of all the guests, I barely met any of them. This was kind of trapped in an area.
Right. Well, Shawn Michaels is one of your more important guests, and you gotta, I could sort of, I can half see it, but.
I know. I was getting hassled by his agent, so it wasn't so good.
Oh. Yeah. We talk about a lot of the big coordination and planning it takes to get these events done. I mean, all the hard work all the looking I had to do just to find KM myself to be at our table, and I thank you for the help there.
Yeah, no, he was a good guest. I'm sure he probably was pretty entertaining.
Oh, absolutely. And I was the other night I was just listening to the audio from our podcast, and everything seemed to come out great. So pretty soon it'll be up on Podbean and probably even iTunes. So I'll let you know. I'll send you a link.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely. So the next one will be March 10th.
99% is March 10th. That's what we're going with right now. There is the 1% chance we switch the date, but as of right now, it's March 10th.
As of right now, it's March 10th. Do you any idea as to possibly who might be showing up, or is it a little bit too early to be speculating?
Well, I mean, we're always open to suggestions. One thing that was mentioned that went over pretty good was that ECW reunion. People seem to really like that. I'm always looking for something new, something different. I try different things. Some things are successful, some things not so much. We brought in Tito Ortiz the time before, and that didn't exactly go so great. Just trying to, we talked about maybe bringing in some sports people, trying to mix that, maybe some football players that have WWE ties. We've contemplated. I do a lot with Lawrence Taylor. He was in WrestleMania with Bam Bam Bigelow.
Right, and that was here in Hartford.
Right.
That's a possibility. Just trying to find something big that people are going to want. Unfortunately, the big stars, a lot of them have passed away or are just unattainable due to the amount that they want. And there's also the cost factor. People only have so much money. You can't expect someone to shell out hundreds and hundreds of dollars for someone, and it's not really a value. There has to be a perceived value, or people don't want to spend it.
I could throw a name out there, Chris Jericho, because I know he's no longer under contract because he's going to be wrestling for New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Okay,
January 4th.
We've had him before, but I certainly will reach out to him and give him an invite.
Yeah. Just an idea, just a name. That's all.
No, I like any ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And any ideas are good.
Right. We even we're trying to encourage. We put it out there. We didn't really talk to anybody personally, but we made a suggestion to a lot of some of these smaller companies to maybe get tables. And put their names out there too.
No, absolutely. Like I hope you guys networked. I don't know what you did or not. Like I said, I was kind of tied up, but it's a good idea to have a card or a brochure and pass it out to all the vendors and stuff there.
Yeah,
and the customers.
We had the chance to go down to talk to, and I believe this is their proper name. So if I offend anybody out there, I apologize. But I believe they call themselves the Fat Man and the Jew.
I don't know.
Who run a?
That's pretty funny.
It's another podcast. That was actually the name on their business card.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you definitely should be out there networking, and some of these podcasts. Maybe you guys could. I don't know how it works exactly, but maybe you could share people where you do like a dual podcast. They come on your show one week and you go on their show the next week or something like that.
Oh, absolutely.
And
right.
And that might be kind of cool.
Right.
But again, I don't know how the logistics of that work and whatnot.
Yeah, we're trying to learn it ourselves. I mean, podcasting has been out for years, and I've been here on public access television. I'm just now, getting into it, and everybody's been telling me for years, oh, you got to try doing this, and I'm like, yeah, but it's only audio. There's no video involved. It's just audio, but it's a little more convenient for people too, if you're traveling in your car.
Yeah, but Jay, I'm hearing good feedback about that because people are happy they don't have to look at you.
They don't have to look at Dangerous Dan either.
Yeah.
But
yeah, hopefully you guys want to do that next time. Maybe we could find some other person for you, or it was just a start. Even if you didn't want to bring a guest, just having a table and being part of the event and passing out flyers is a pretty cool thing too.
Absolutely.
Would you ever consider using some of the larger names on the independent circuit?
Would I ever use a larger name on a what?
On the independent circuit?
Well, Brian just does these big event autograph signings.
Oh, I know, but
yeah.
Right. I mean, the cost to bring some of these people to these, shall we say, smaller venues, it doesn't really work.
Mm-hmm. No.
Because I was totally shocked at some of the people that I saw there, and like I told Jay, visually I remembered them from their glory days back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, like Ivan Putski.
Yeah, exactly. You would never know it's Ivan Putski if you walk by him in the subway.
No, it totally blew my mind.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's just.
And you had so many great guests there. Like Al Snow took the time to come over to us and personally shake our hands.
He is one of the greatest people in the business. I really have so much respect for that man. He's a wealth of knowledge, and I don't say that about a lot of people, but he truly is.
He truly
is. An absolute wealth of knowledge, a gentleman. You could ask him just about any question, and he'll either have the the answer or know where to get the answer. Within reason. I don't think he's going to be able to create a new drug or something like that to cure cancer. But most things he's right on. I mean, what a great guy.
Well, we've got a good friend of ours that we say the same thing about, Mario Mancini.
Right.
You can ask
Okay.
Mario Mancini one short question, and he can turn into a whole program off it.
Oh, yeah. Basically, when he comes on our show, we don't even have to talk. He runs Paradise Alley School with Paul Roma, actually. But
Nice.
yeah. But Brian, thank you very much for calling in.
Okay.
We're going to be wrapping things up here in about a minute and 3 seconds.
Okay. Anytime you have something, let me know.
And certainly, we look forward to the next
Okay.
one.
Yep. Perfect. Thanks.
Absolutely. We will see you. We'll be in touch before the next big event. Thank you.
Okay. Goodbye.
Brian Barth, of course. And speaking of PAPW, that segues into, before we head out here in 39 seconds, never give up on November 18th,
I never do. Today or on November 18th.
or any day for that matter.
That's right, because the power of Hoffmania runs wild.
Joseph Little Middle School once again hosts PAPW on November 18th. We'll have PvP footage for Feaster Fight tonight, their annual food drive for Thanksgiving. We'll have that up and running next week. I'm Hollywood J. Williams, though, for now. Dangerous
What?
Dan.
Dangerous.
You had to think,
Dangerous.
really?
Dangerous Dan.
Bill
The power
Thompson,
of
get better.
Hoffmania.
Good night. Good luck. We'll see you next week.